From KAMR Local 4 News, your local election headquarters, this is Politics Today.
Lawmakers in New Mexico are being called back for a special session. The governor wrote that this is related to deep federal budget cuts. We have more from lawmakers ahead. And we learn about the PPROA and the role they play in one of the biggest industries of the area, oil production. Congressman Ronnie Jackson has filed a lawsuit in Amarillo Federal Court targeting California and their redistricting efforts. Thanks for joining us here on Politics Today. I'm Jack Kessler. California did it in direct response to Texas's redistricting. In the suit, Jackson claims the legislation passed is unconstitutional and targets Texas and may cause him to lose his subcommittee chair position if Democrats have a majority in the U.S. House. According to California law, a constitutional amendment can be initiated by lawmakers, and the governor can call for a special election for citizens to approve or not to approve the amendment. If passed, it would bypass the redistricting commission to redraw California districts. Congressman Ronnie Jackson's official military rank is restored. Jackson posted a letter from the Secretary of the Navy, which says he's reinstituted to the retired grade of Rear Admiral, lower half. In 2022, the Navy demoted Jackson to captain after a report alleging Jackson engaged in inappropriate conduct while the White House physician to Presidents Obama and Trump. Allegations Congressman Jackson has always denied. Chip Hunt, a precinct chair for the Potter County Republican Party and the Republican Party of Texas, is filing a lawsuit against the state of Texas and Texas Secretary of State Jan Nelson. The lawsuit, which was filed in federal court, claims that the Texas open primary election system, which allows independents and Democrats to vote in Republican primaries, violates the First Amendment rights of the Republican Party of Texas. Further adds that the First Amendment entitles political parties to determine who they associate with to select their nominees for public office. They're seeking to have closed Republican primary for future election cycles. City of Amarillo's Chief Financial Officer, Laura Storrs, has announced her retirement. Her retirement is effective February 2026, following more than 20 years of service to the City of Amarillo. Storrs started her career in 2003 and has held several positions in the city, with the most recent being the CFO. City of Amarillo will start looking for their next CFO in the coming months. The Range has named Jacob Coates as its new executive director, while finding leader Matt Garner transitioned to a board role. The Range says that Coates has been serving as Digital Innovative Coordinator since December of 2024 and adds that Garner will transition into a board role where he will focus on research, grant writing, and cultivating long-term relationships with partners both locally and nationwide. The Roosevelt County manager submitted his resignation to the Board of Commissioners. Andrew Patterson's resignation set to go into effect on September 12th. Patterson has been in that role since June of this year and is stated to be a key component to the preparation of the fiscal year 2025's final financial statement, as well as the fiscal year 2026 budget. The Board of Commissioners will begin looking for Patterson's replacement in the coming weeks. For weeks, lawmakers have anticipated a special session, and on Thursday, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham made it official. They'll head back to the Roundhouse October 1st, has some lawmakers praising the move, while others are critical about why they're going back to Santa Fe. The governor's priorities will address federal budget cuts to health care and food assistance. Democrats say it's necessary, but Republicans say they weren't surprised that they're not tackling other big issues. Bianca Hoops has more.
In less than a month, New Mexico lawmakers will meet at the Roundhouse for a special session.
We're ready to get to work. There are some really devastating cuts coming to New Mexican families.
Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham's goals are to address federal funding cuts made through President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. Lawmakers can expect bills focused on funds for rural health care providers, plus filling in funding for those who could lose food stamps and Medicaid. The Medicaid Advisory Committee estimates more than 98,000 New Mexicans could lose Medicaid coverage, and more than 457,000 could see lower benefit checks for groceries. Lawmakers also plan to tackle covering cuts to public broadcasting.
That funding needs to happen. That's an example the cuts to Medicaid, another example, public radio stations. These are things that we can come in quickly. We can provide the funding to make it happen.
Most Democrats in the House and Senate are all in, but Republicans say the state has bigger issues, such as reforming CYFD, juvenile crime laws, and more.
We should be focusing on reforming medical malpractice laws, and that's to recruit and retain healthcare providers.
Republican Senator Minority Leader Bill Scherer says federal cuts have not taken effect yet, and says while Republican leadership has tried reaching out to the governor's office about a special session, he says she hasn't been willing to work with them.
This collaboration only with Democrats, not with Republicans, not with the other 46% of the state.
But Democrats say they are expecting a productive session.
In a very targeted special session, you want to be in and you want to be out. And I think we're going to have a set of proposals here that we can move quickly.
Unless we can focus on the state of emergency that we're actually in, and that is addressing the healthcare crisis, CYFD accountability, juvenile crime, I can't imagine it being that productive.
The governor's office tells us she initially proposed a robust legislative package, including medical licensing compacts and prohibiting immigration detention facilities for the special session. But she says through legislative negotiations, the items were removed to focus on protecting the most vulnerable New Mexicans. The governor's office says she does plan to tackle big issues such as public safety, juvenile crime, and banning immigration detention centers in the upcoming 30-day session in January. Ground is broken for the expansion of the expanded project by International Aerospace Coding. Emerald Economic Development Corporation was there. The new hangar at the Rick Husband is expected to be 79,000 square feet. Last month, the Emerald City Council approved a new 50-year lease and approved construction on the new aircraft paint hangar and additional storage space.
Geographically, it works out quite well. I mean, you're pretty central in the country. All of our customer sets we've come here actually like coming here. It's great to hear that as we're announcing the new facility, they're all showing interest too about kind of, can I take some of the slack? Because it's going to be a brand new facility, state-of-the-art stuff. So they're quite keen to, that's pretty impressive to be in.
Organizers say they hope they will help grow the city's aviation industry. Panhandle Producers and Royalty Owners Association serves as an advocate for companies and individuals in the oil and gas industry. The organization covers the Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma, and southwestern Kansas. Politics Today's Kaylee Hanna has details about the organization and how the Panhandle is unique when it comes to oil and gas production.
Catherine Meck, PPROA Executive Director, says the oil and gas industry is one of the largest employers in the Panhandle, right after healthcare and Pantex. Meck says oil and gas production is important for the community and socioeconomics.
The Panhandle of Texas is very unique when you're talking about the oil and gas industry. I've heard people say that we may be sitting on the largest natural gas under Amarillo and the Panhandle in the world. I'd like to hope to see that someday, but right now, we are very viable here in the Panhandle. Every year, statistically, we have produced more oil and gas every single year.
According to MEC, PPROA represents the tradespeople in the oil and gas industry.
And that's everybody from mineral rights owners to the service companies and the producers. And so what we're here to do is advocate for every one of those different tradesmen in the area.
MEC says tariffs can increase costs and uncertainty for the oil and gas industry, so it's important for the right bills to go through in legislation.
We have our own lobbyist in Austin, and he represents this Panhandle area. And right now legislation is going on for all these new bills, and they keep an eye, Travis keeps an eye on all these different bills, what's best for this area. And so that's what PPROA does. We bring that advocacy for all the people.
In Amarillo, Kaylee Hanna, KMR Local 4 News.
MEC says that PPROA advocates for service providers, service companies, and oil production companies, as well as local electricians, accountants, and lawyers in oil and gas. Honoring those who answer the call to any emergency, crime, fire, or need for the community, how an organization is working to make it happen. And we're taking a look at the importance of safe haven baby boxes and the role they serve here on the High Plains. No matter the time of day or location, first responders rush into dangerous situations to make sure you stay safe. And an area nonprofit is working to honor those who've made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. Rochelle Hamilton Jr. explains.
Wes Reeves loves to tell the history of the High Plains area.
Going all the way back to the early 1880s.
And the upcoming First Responders Memorial, a heartfelt way to tell the rich history of the region and honor those who've made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of public service.
This memorial will be behind me here at 11th and Polk, and it will honor and remember the sacrifices of first responders, be law enforcement, firefighters and emergency technicians that have died in the line of duty.
Reeves is a board member of Friends of A.J. Swope, the local nonprofit spearheading the effort to bring the memorial to life in downtown Amarillo.
This is going to be a big deal for Amarillo, and it'll be a place that everybody in Amarillo can take pride in.
Potter County Sheriff Brian Thomas.
It'll honor over 100 law enforcement and firefighters and EMS people that have died in the line of duty. The land was actually leased from the city for $1 a year. I think it's going to be a beautiful place. I've seen the renderings of the drawing. It's going to be a really nice place to just go sit and just reflect on what those guys have given. Their lives have been given so we can have a better life.
Reeves tells me they raised more than $850,000, aiming to raise another $150,000 to begin the construction phase by October 28th, which is National First Responders Day.
In this region, there is not a first responder memorial anywhere close by. So this is going to be kind of a unique thing for our region.
Jason Love is the public information officer for the Amarillo Fire Department and says as a first responder, the memorial has special meaning.
It's always a comfort to know that if something were to happen to me, there would be a place that my family could go find some of that closure.
All of it to honor those.
But we always want to remember the folks who have stood in the path of danger for us and continue to do that.
Who've sacrificed it all. In Amarillo, Rochelle Hamilton Jr., KAMR, Local 4 News.
Both Reeves and Thomas tells us you can either donate to the cause either electronically or the debit or credit card, or you can write a check. Dalhart Volunteer Fire Department and Amarillo Fire Department are working to provide safe options to parents making the decision to surrender their babies. On Thursday, Politics Today's Maya Clark spoke with Dalhart Fire Department about their baby box that opened in June and AFD about their box set to open very soon.
Safe Haven Baby Boxes, a safe way to surrender babies in hopes they have a better life.
We understand that sometimes moms and parents find themselves in situations where they just can't care for the kid. And so this is a safe alternative for them to know that their kid is going to be taken care of.
Love shared that AFD recently had their baby box installed at one of their stations and are working to get the box up and running.
So once we get that notification, then we will take that infant, and we have protocols for that. We're going to contact Child Protective Services and get them involved because they have all the resources to put that kid in foster care and do all of that stuff.
In June, Dalhart Volunteer Fire Department opened their Safe Haven Baby Box as a way to better serve the community.
It's here for the reason of our public and our folks here, and just to provide another step, another of protection for our people here.
Garcia and Love shared that some parents are in fear that they'll get in trouble for surrendering their babies at a fire department. But they want the community to know it is safe, legal, and anonymous.
This is a lot better than the alternative that some folks have done in the past. So surrendering the child at that Safe Haven Baby Box is the safest and legal way to do it if they get into that kind of situation.
Love says, although it's not required, it is helpful if an infant is surrendered at a fire station. The parent leave a note regarding medical history so the child can receive the most appropriate care. Love adds it's also important for people to know that even if there is not a Safe Haven Baby Box at a fire station, you are still able to surrender your infant there. He shared that AFD has had 3 surrenders, with the most recent being at Station 13. This week, the operation of Texas lottery games came under control of the Department of Licensing and Regulation. Coming up, what one big change players will notice, and the Amarillo Animal Management and Welfare Welfare is moving out of their summer season. More on those hours ahead. The Powerball jackpot is approaching $2 billion. It's the third highest jackpot in the game's history, with an estimated cash value of $770 million. The next drawing is on Saturday night. It's all happening as the Texas Lottery is going through a major transition under new leadership. Capitol correspondent Dylan McKim explains how the Lottery Commission is merging with a new agency and what it means for lottery players.
It's one of the biggest prizes in Powerball history, and it comes at the start of a new era in Texas Lottery.
What serendipitous timing for us
Welcome.
as a new agency, right?
The Texas Lottery is now being managed by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. Earlier this year, the Texas legislature voted to disband the Lottery Commission because of frustrations with how the agency was operating the game. Allegations of cheating the game are still being investigated by the Texas Rangers. Starting Monday, employees of the Lottery Commission have merged with TDLR. The agency held its first public meeting since the transition on Thursday.
So far, going very well.
Glenn Neal is in charge of the transition. He said all but a handful of Lottery Commission employees have integrated into TDLR. And more importantly, he says there has been no interruption to lottery services as Powerball fever heats up.
We expect that the player experience is literally unchanged.
The biggest change will impact people who play the lottery on their phone through courier services. Players can no longer use those services and must play in person with cash.
We hope that they'll honor the citizens of the state and operate it accordingly.
Rob Kohler works for the Christian Life Commission, the public policy arm of the Baptist General Convention of Texas. He was at the meeting and says so far he's pleased with the transition. He expects the new leadership will make meaningful changes to the game. For example, he's concerned about the current amount of unclaimed prizes from games like scratch-offs. Last fiscal year, that number was $80 million.
Another way to put that is citizens of the state were tricked out of that $80 million. So it's issues like that we believe will get a fresh review.
Next up, an audit of the lottery program as work moves forward to keep tickets printing. In Austin, I'm Dylan McKim.
As summer comes to a close, so do the summer hours over at the City of Emerald Animal Management and Welfare. AAMW will be open from 10 a.m. and closing at 6 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday and closed on Sundays and Mondays. It's a program where qualified Emerald ISD students would get some parts of their college paid for. Coming up now, that program is set to end. We'll tell you which graduating class will be the last to receive this help. Emerald College's Thrive Scholarship Program, which helped qualified Emerald ISD students with the cost of college, is set to end soon. AC's Vice President of Student Affairs, Bob Austin, shared that the Emerald ISD class of 2027 is the final cohort eligible for the scholarship. Politics Today's Maya Clark has details.
Amarillo College and Amarillo ISD are partnering to make education more affordable for AISD graduates.
During the time that they're in high school, they're normally working with the counselors or the CCMRs at the school to make sure that they're on track to qualify for the scholarship.
For the scholarship, students must have attended an AISD school since freshman year, graduated with a GPA of 80 or higher, maintained good attendance, and not have been expelled or placed on DAEP.
When the student graduates, the folks at AISD notify us here at the college which students meet the minimum qualifications for the scholarship, and then we work with the students to help them get enrolled and to make sure that they get the scholarship that they earned.
The scholarship covers the cost of tuition, fees, and books for 60 credit hours or 3 years of study at AC.
There are multiple instances where students who qualified for federal aid, their aid covered most of the cost of their education, but not everything. And the amount that was left over was picked up by the Thrive Scholarship.
With the scholarship set to expire in 2030, Austin says they are working on other opportunities for students and families.
It shouldn't really have a significant effect on us right away because obviously there's still students in the pipeline. But what we'll need to do over the next couple of years or so is communicate with students and families what other opportunities may be available to them, ideally to take the place of that scholarship.
Austin says the scholarship has helped students and their families save money that has helped fund their bachelor's degrees and other career opportunities. An Amarillo ISD spokesperson shared that the partnership has been incredible for their AISD families. We're going to wrap up Politics Today after this. Keep it here. Back to Politics Today. Remember, you can like us on Facebook and stay up to the latest political news with us this week. We have continuing coverage on our website, myhighplains.com. You can check us out on Alexa, Instagram, and remember, like us on Facebook. Thanks for joining us on Politics Today. I'm Jack Kessler.